Hail Hydra, everybody. Good morning.
Like you said, there's been a few changes of plans, so we're just going to go solo for a while, maybe the whole thing, but that's good because lots of questions for this guy right here. And one of my first questions right off the bat would simply be, Hail Hydra, what did you know and when did you know it?
What's funny is I went in to read. I went over to Marvel, to the studios where they were like, I knew I was in the movie, but I didn't know to what capacity. And I knew that like producers are like, whenever they see me, they're like, oh my God, we can't wait to show you what we got planned for you. And I said, all right, whatever, you know. So I'll go in and I read the script, and I was reading the script outside of it. It was weird because I was like, why are they having me out here? But it was like where the secretaries were, and the Russos were in this. There was an office like right here. The door was right here. So they both open the door and they pop out and they go, so read the script, stay here, read the script, and let us know when you're finished. And I said, all right. So then I'm reading the script, and then I get to that part and I go, oh my God. And I go like that. All the secretaries like look up. They pop out of the window, out of the door, and they go, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right, you finish it, and then come into the room. And then so I finish the script, and I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? It's like the destruction of S.H.I.E.L.D., basically, like a complete break apart of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then we walk into the room, and we just start discussing everything and how it kind of came about, and how they wanted to put this idea that Hydra had always been there. And then it was sort of like, a little unclear as to, I was like, well, is he really Hydra, or is he, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the movie, I never say Hail Hydra. Senator Stern says it to me, I never say it back to him. So there was this idea of, is he really Hydra? Is he was he planted by Hydra? Is this another Fury plan that he has, like, sort of happening? And then, then I got completely distracted by all the, production art that they had on the walls. And I was like, oh, pretty. And I was just like looking at this stuff. And, but yeah, I basically knew it way before we were shooting. And I knew the implications of it. And when then we were shooting it, we shot that stuff with Gary Shandling in DC, which was amazing. We were like literally a block away from the White House. And he was like, is this going to be a big deal? Is this like a big, I'm like, this is a huge deal. He had no idea how big this was, this whole idea of like introducing that Hydra had been in S.H.I.E.L.D. the entire time. He had no clue. He had absolutely no idea. He's like, oh, I'm like, this is a huge deal, Gary. This is like a really big deal. He's like, this, okay, yeah, all right, And then we did it, and then it was great, and we kind of like played around and improvised a little bit with that scene. That scene was like probably about halfway, 50% improvised. It was just us like kind of like mixing stuff and doing stuff and playing with little, like when he sees a little pin, he goes, oh, nice pin, and all that stuff is him just being Gary. And yeah, so I knew pretty much from the beginning.
Great Shandling impression, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah.
So obviously you didn't find out then until Winter Soldiers, basically, when you first
I found out from Winter Soldier, and then when I went to go do S.H.I.E.L.D., I already knew because we had already shot Winter Soldier. Okay. And then we went back to S.H.I.E.L.D., and all the characters, they didn't really know anything at all. They didn't know what was happening at all. And so we're shooting this stuff, and they're like, oh, it's so weird. They're like, you're in the episode, and then they're like, oh, they need you on the Lumerian star. And then they're like, why do they need you? I'm like, I don't know, they tell me where to go, I go, Things. And then they don't know. So then when they saw the movie, and then I think I saw like Brett Dalton one day, and I'm on another show called The Last Ship, and we shoot on the same lot as S.H.I.E.L.D. So they were like, he was like, dude, I saw the screening last night. It was crazy. He said, you didn't tell us anything. I'm like, I know. It's like half of my job, It's like just keeping secrets from people. But it was, it was a lot of fun.
Well, there was this single shot, and it's one of those things you find out and you go back and look at it, even to the point that you're saying you never say Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
But in Thor, there's a moment where you look into the room that's holding Thor after he fails to pick up the hammer, and there's a mirror shot.
Yeah.
Just artistic nonsense by accident, or was somebody getting minorly creative?
I think that was just complete coincidence that kind of happened, and that was I think at that point it hadn't been discussed. I know Winter Soldier hadn't been fully fleshed out at that point. And because I did Thor, and I think that was just artistic, like just a thing, and it just ended up, people, I've read about this, like people like, oh, did they know it was like, and I'm like, it's absolutely nothing to do with that. That was just a shot that Kenneth Branagh wanted to do, and he liked the mirror. He's like, oh, the mirror's good, the mirror's there, let's use the mirror. It was kind of like one of those things on the fly. But from Thor, they had no idea they were going to add any of this stuff on, because I got added to Avengers, and I'm in it very briefly, at the last minute, because at that point, then they knew Winter Soldier was going to happen, and they knew I was going to have some involvement in it. So they were like, hey, to Joss, hey, Joss, just use Max in it, because we're going to have him do something down the line, and, we just need to connect him through the universe. That, and then we did these shorts, these Marvel one-shots. So they wanted to use me that way to, to sort of like build the character up, and then he made more sense in Captain America: Winter Soldier that way.
And actually, talking about that, the one shots, hashtag it's all connected.
Yeah.
So once Winter Soldier comes out, really changed everything.
Yeah.
But on a level for actually your own experience watching it, knowing it, but even as the fan or viewer experience, watching the multi-tier experience happen. What was that like for you?
It was great, because the movies, especially the beginning parts, are kind of out of order, and the original use of the Marvel one-shots was they sort of like put the films in chronological order. So they were like, let's just do these little things, and then it turned into like, oh, these things could be really cool, and we could start using so a lot of times you'll see in those, we use a lot of the same stunt people and special effects. So a lot of the special effects from like Item 47, a lot of special effects that were in Avengers, we used all the same people that came over, and they connected it all, and we worked. And here's a little tidbit that the co-president of Marvel, Louis D'Esposito, directed Item 47, which is on the Blu-ray for Avengers. You can watch Item 47 on that. It came out amazing. And it was me and Lizzie Kaplan, Jesse Bradford, Titus Welliver, who plays Agent Blake. We're all in it. And it turned out so well that he was like, you know what, I'm going to go take it to Bob Iger, who's the head of Disney. And Bob Iger watched it, and he said, why isn't this a show? This should be a show. And they were like, huh, okay. And then that's how you got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Basically, that short was the genesis for a S.H.I.E.L.D. show of some form. And then they were just trying to figure out how to bring Clark back somehow, and they had to go do the Tahiti thing, so we're very because Titus is on another show. We work a lot, and so when we see Clark, it's like, you're welcome. You're very, very welcome.
Working is good. It's
yeah,
nice,
yeah,
right?
but it was but it was a lot. It was a lot of fun, and we didn't think that the shorts were going to be as impactful as they were. But. Yeah, they turned out great, and I mean, Agent Carter short is great short too. And actually, a shout out to Eric Pearson. He wrote all the Marvel shorts, and now he's the head writer for Agent Carter on TV now. Yeah,
currently on ABC at 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, just in case you want to catch that. And also, not only was it but it was also the consultant as well.
Yeah, we did the consultant, and the consultant was one that was almost strictly for chronological reasons. It was to connect Iron Man to Incredible Hulk, and to connect Incredible Hulk to Avengers. Because in that short, I don't know if you guys have seen, I think it's on the original Captain America Blu-ray, is a short called The Consultant, where Clark and I are agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're S.H.I.E.L.D. agents sitting at a diner having a conversation on how we help build the Avengers team. And at first it's brought up that someone wants the Abomination to be on the team. And we're like, no, we want Banner. It's got to be Banner, but but at that point Banner was being contained somewhere, and we were trying to get him freed up. And it connects to the, we were trying to get permission to use him as part of the team. And that led off from the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk film. So we were trying to just use the shorts to put everything in order. We like that. There's a lot of stuff cut out of that Clark and I were mad that they cut out, because we thought we were hilarious, and it was a lot of back and forth bantery kind of stuff. But it was even more about that. That was cut out for just strictly for time. That was also those two. It was the consultant, and a funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer that were shot by like an outside director. Like they just brought him in specifically to do this, and then I think then Marvel was like, no, we're going to take charge of this. We're going to connect it to all the movies, and we're going to do it all in-house.
Yeah. One of the questions somebody prompted me to ask you was, how many times have people leaned in and whispered "Hail Hydra" to you?
You know what? It's fine when fans come up and say, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And you whisper in my ear, and I'll do this face like, "Oh my God," And then I just point out to them like, I never say it in the movie, and they go, "Oh, well, can I whisper it into your ear?" I'm like, "That's weird." But if you want to, absolutely. You know what? I'm a huge fanboy. Like I grew up reading comics, so to me, I feel you. I'm in your world as well. I still have an ongoing subscription to Marvel since I was 12 years old. And I have now a 12-year-old son, so it's like, did you read that? That was awesome. Did you read that? Yeah. It's like we go back and forth talking about how cool a specific book is. So it happens a lot. It happens a lot. I'm perfectly, totally fine with it. Where I wasn't fine was when I went to my neighborhood bar and my bartender hands over the drink. He's like this, "Hail Hydra." And then I'm like, should I drink this now? Like, it seems totally unsafe to drink this drink now that you did that. I don't know what your feelings on the whole Shield Hydra thing fall, but it seems like it's not at all, a good idea for me to drink that vodka tonic now. So, but yeah, it's fun. I'm totally fine with it. I have a great time, and it's either that or I did Walking Dead too. People are like, "Oh, you should have stopped," like with the Walking Dead stuff, and it's like. It carries over from pretty much from everything.
Yeah. Well, other people have also not said it, but with Hail Hydra hashtag, I mean, Katy Perry never heard Hail Hydra from the Laugh Shark, but it's out there, so it's actually social media really grabbed that.
I saw that. Yeah, I was like, that was random and strange and weird, but yeah, people have used it for I like like kitty pictures, like little cat pictures and stuff with Hail Hydra on it. I like Nail Hydra. I like they did a meme of Ming-Na, Agent May. I think she clipped someone with a nail gun in one of the episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She goes, "Nail Hydra," or something like that,
Well, Marvel overall has been doing something that, everybody, Glenn Morshower, how you doing?
How you doing?
Excuse me one moment. Let's make it official. Here you go, sir.
I would like to just say I'm not fashionably late. I got up very early this morning, but I am jumping in for someone else that I guess was supposed to be on this panel because I guest starred on the show as well. So good morning, and we're so glad you're here.
Well, we were talking, actually, I was just getting ready to ask the question about Marvel in its own, I guess, lack of a better word, business model for the industry has really kind of broken through to a couple unique aspects. And you'd be a good one to comment on this, particularly because you've been involved in other franchises with other studios, including First Class, which is through Fox, and then there's DC with Supergirl. When you look at what...
You did your homework.
A little bit. I heard you were coming, big fan, and I figured, why not? The question is, when you look at what Marvel is doing as a whole, and this goes with the big screen, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the extra stuff that they're doing that way, including some of the original series that they're putting out on Netflix with Jessica Jones and Daredevil. For your perspective, working with these other groups, how has that been, either through your own perspective or even the perspective of those working around you?
They have been very warm environments to work in. I am maybe not the best person to ask that question only because I don't have an opinion about it. I'm a gun for hire. I'm an actor that comes in with a job to do. And our whole job is simply that of acceptance, to be able to accept the reality that you're in. I've been an actor since I was a kid. I started when I was 11 and I'm 56 today, although the top of my head just celebrated its 89th birthday. And it was yesterday, in fact. But both the DC world and the Marvel world have been great. X-Men First Class was one of my favorite films to ever work on. And we had a chance to work for a couple of months in the UK, which is great anytime you can go over to London and be paid for it. I'm a fan of being paid. How about you guys? You guys enjoy being paid? Money has never, ever upset me. So there's my answer, is that money has never upset me.
Only the lack of. Only the lack of it, yeah.
What about you when it comes down to that multi-platform across-the-board experience, either, again, as a viewer or even a fanboy or even just benignly as an actor?
Well, I think Marvel. I've never worked with DC. With Marvel in particular, I think they just seem to think everything through really far. Because I've done both the movies and the shorts and the TV show, where you can see that there's a hand in it, and they pay a lot of attention to like certain lines and certain things. They're like, can't say that because that connects over here, and they're going to do that in Avengers, and they do a lot of that kind of stuff. They pay a tremendous amount of attention to detail. And I think it just makes more of a cohesive experience for viewers. I've seen the Daredevil show, and I've seen Jessica Jones, and it's like every so often you like when you get a reference that connects to something else, that connects to something else, that connects to something else, and makes you feel like you're being pulled into it. And I think they've done a really good job of doing that, because I think they're very fan-centric. And I think they were like, people will get this, people will totally get this, and they do, and you guys do clearly get it when you go out and you see like that. Oh wow, he referenced this guy who's also referenced by this person, and it connects all the worlds, and it just makes it seem bigger and richer and fuller. And it's great when they do that. Sometimes I don't understand what they're saying. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'll just say it because I'm being paid.
That's right. It's our job.
Being paid to do it. But as a fanboy, it's kind of cool, because then you're like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, cool. And then you know it that way. But I think it's fantastic that they're doing it. I think DC's doing it now more. They're connecting. They're doing it more. They're taking that business model because they see that it works and it makes $1 gajillion. So why not?
If I may just say one more thing about that, I personally was unaware of there being such specific camps until I left the one camp.
Yeah.
I wasn't really leaving it. We were just done.
Yeah.
Right? We're done shooting. And now I'm on a DC show doing Supergirl on CBS. And I had people who were really reactive, like I was cheating on my wife or something. It was like, no, I'm serious. It was like, you do know that's a DC show, right? And I'm thinking, no, I didn't, but okay. The fun fact, I think you'll find this interesting, was to me anyway, the character that I play on Supergirl, General Sam Lane. I, by the way, have played more military people. This is just an interesting piece of trivia than anyone in the history of film, living or dead. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's just a thing, right? It's a thing. So when they asked me to do this, I did some research on General Sam Lane. I truly did, and I found out that the DC world created that character in 1959. I was also created in 1959. I think that's kind of cool.
Meant to be, meant to be. Well, with your part in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you do, like you say, play a General Jacobs, and you're basically kind of off rather quickly. Yeah. So how much did you get involved with either the storyline or the context? Is it just a matter of reading lines and getting the insight that way, or do you?
No, for me, I'm going to tell you why I took the role, because I really don't need any more military roles in my life. I took it solely because it was going to be my 40th screen death. I have died now 40 times on camera, and I wasn't trying to make that mark. I'm looking now for unusual deaths. Now, if you saw the show, if you didn't see the show, let me shed some light on how I was killed. Bill Paxton reached into my torso, and we heard a snap, and it was him cracking a rib in half. And he then removed it, showed it to me, and promptly stabbed me in the neck with my own rib. How do you pass that up?
How's that doing in the ranking so far?
It's my favorite screen death to this date.
So if there's any inspiring writers out there, start thinking. All right. When you approach something like that, so you actually knew the whole scene. It
I
wasn't
did.
like, here's the script, and oh, by the way, the next script, you're dead. You
Right.
knew right off the bat. Is there anything particular that you do to prepare for a death?
Just consider that, I take what I do very seriously. I have a smile and a laugh about it. But when it comes time to say yes to whatever's going on, acceptance has always been something that just came very easily for me. So no, I approach it all the same, but there's something very powerful also about putting on a uniform, that the moment you put it on in your dressing room, all of a sudden I find this voice creeping in. And this was the voice of my stepfather, who used to whistle on his S's. Like that. And so as soon as that uniform comes on, there's a persona change, and then we just go to work, So yeah, there was no special preparation that differed from anything else that I've done. I know what it's like to play a general very, very well.
And your demise in Winter Soldier, I believe, is when it happened, although nobody in the comic book world is officially dead, ever.
I don't know, that rib, that sounds like you're dead.
They haven't called me back.
It could happen.
That's pretty torso. That is rough. I've died a hell of a lot more than I've lived, and I've never died like that. That is unbelievable.
So a little death envy, Ben, being chucked out of a moving car.
Well,
on the
no, because
expressway?
this is the thing. You never see really happens. There's this theory going around about the truck being driven by the Punisher, because it's the truck that's used throughout that film. It's a Penske truck, and it helps Fury get away in his car chase. You see it appears, and then you see it again a later part of the film, and then you see it again as I'm getting pulled out of the car and thrown out of the car, and I just disappear. It's also very pleasant when the heads of studios come up to you and be like, "I never actually saw you die, so who knows?" And I'm like, "Okay, that sounds good to me." But yeah, it was an interesting ordeal.
Well, when you're dealing with comic book industry films, particularly, the fans have a little bit of a say. Recently, Deadpool was a good example of that one. That was all but killed and came back with a fury. And so is there a chance that there's a petition starting to make you into that double secret crossover agent?
Well, people write these things on chat room boards and stuff, that kind of stuff, and it gets tweeted to me like, "Hey, did you hear about this?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's like a fan making up a story." Hopefully that Marvel will pick up on. I had heard that. It'd be great to go back to do that. I'm on 2 other shows right now, so it's a little difficult, but it'd be great because right now there's a comic out right now. It's like a zombie. It's a zombie Howling Commandos that someone just sent to me, and there is a zombie Jasper Sitwell in there. I also have done episodes of Walking Dead, so it's a crossover for me. The idea that he would be a zombie is funny, but it's like a real thing that people are circulating around. So.
Hey, Max, I'd like to congratulate you. Guys, there are a lot of people dream their whole lives about doing one show, and you're doing 2. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a lot of fun.
That's really great.
It's a lot of fun, and I get to. It's great because when you get, how it is when you get a little click, and it's like everyone's so nice. This is exactly where I want to be. So I do a show called The Last Ship for TNT. And
Michael Bay.
With Michael Bay, yeah. And you worked with Michael Bay.
I've done 5 movies.
Yes, right. And I believe you were a general or something.
In 3 of them.
In 3 of them.
What was the name of that general?
No, keep on your roll, because I'm going to tail you with a Michael Bay story.
It was, that, and I do another show for Amazon Prime called Hand of God with Ron Perlman and Dana Delaney. And, which is great. And then my best friend in the world, Andre Royo, is on that show. And so it's funny because he and I did theater in many places like this in New York for a long time. And this is the first show that we've worked on together, knowing each other for 25 years. So it's great. So for me, when I go to work, it's truly like I'm going to play with friends, you know, and that's hard to find because sometimes, you know, you go and sometimes people aren't pleasant or they just don't want to know you or they just want to be on their thing and they want to do their job and they don't want to have anything to do with you and they go home. So I've been very lucky to be on 2 shows and to be on 2 shows that I'm very proud of, to, you know, to be a part of. So it's great.
So I want to tell you about Michael.
Yes,
Bay.
please, because I've heard stories.
So, and we had that kind of family environment for 8 great years on Fox Television doing 24.
Right.
What a wonderful series 24 was. Thank you. 5 people saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, more than 5 saw it. Awesome.
Everyone's seen 24.
But Michael Bay and I did Pearl Harbor together and developed a nice relationship. We got along really, really well. So when he did The Island, he called me at home and he said, "Dude." Now, by the way, Michael's the only person in my life that refers to me as dude. And he said, "Dude, you want to do a movie with me? I'm shooting it now. It's called The Island." And I said, "Well, when and where?" Because I get along with Michael, you know. And he said, "Well, it's shooting here in Los Angeles, and the when would be tomorrow." And I said, "Okay, let's go with yes, but just tell me what it is, and I'll make this brief." He says, "Glenn, it's about the future. I'll see you at 7 a.m." That was it. So now cut to, that's a true story. Now cut to, we do Transformers, the first one, where I play a character named Colonel Sharp. He's not a general, he's a colonel. So this is now 3 films for Michael, and the film does very well, as you know. So now he calls me at home and he says, "Dude, do you want to do the sequel?" I said, "To what?" "I know it's not the sequel to Pearl Harbor." Call me a genius, but I can figure that one out on my own. So it's either going to be The Island or Transformers. He said, "It's Transformers, man. Listen, we shoot in 2 weeks. I want this to be our 4th movie together." I said, "You're serious?" He said, "I am." I said, "Okay, well, again, let's go with yes, but Michael, before I commit to this, can you just tell me, does it in any way bother you that I died in the first one?" And he said, "No. No, that doesn't. We're going to change your name and your rank." I said, "I'm not wearing like any kind of prosthetic. I'm going to look strikingly similar to Colonel Sharp." This was my favorite phone call of my entire career. And he says, "Dude, are you home right now? Because I'm sending a hard copy over to your house. I don't want to say anything else. I'm just telling you we're changing your name and your rank. I think you will like the character name." And the script arrives at my front door, and I pull it out, and the character's name is General Moreshower. I think Michael Bay is on Quaaludes. When I read this, I was like, "Are you punking my butt? What? Really? Really?" And I went to wardrobe, and sure enough, it was embroidered, which, by the way, makes it official. If it's embroidered in the uniform. And son of a gun, he brought me back to do 2 and 3 as a character named after me, which I've never had anything like that happen in my life. So, yeah, that's my experience with Michael.
That's amazing. I wish I had a Michael Bay experience like that. I want him to call me and say, "Dude."
Tell him you're ready to have your character named after you.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, that's a true story.
The appropriate, considering the title you hold with the military. Yes. Also, just as a fun thing, it's slightly off the subject, if not way up. 2 different Star Trek series.
5
different Star Trek series.
Actually, 4 different ones, but 5 appearances. I did TNG twice. The only one I did not do is Deep Space Nine. But I did Voyager, I did Enterprise, and I was blessed, really blessed, to do Generations, where the old and the new cast merged. So I got to do Shatner's last voyage as Captain Kirk, which was spectacular.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with the overall Marvel experience, where are you at with that now yourself? Are you keeping cliques together with things? As far as you're talking about meeting people and you feel comfortable, friendly, and all that stuff. Is there? Any tattoos you're sharing with any of the other cast members?
No. No. It's what's great is now I've been very lucky because I've been able to do other movies and stuff like that, and they kind of get locked into this world for a little bit. It's very insular. So whenever they see someone who's like on the outside, they're like, "Oh my God, how are you? What's going on with you? I saw this movie that you didn't." They're like that. I'm like, "Oh," there's like this level of excitement that you try to match, but it's kind of hard. And you're like, "Why are you being so weird and like super like into like talking to me right now?" And then you realize it's like they're locked into this show. They are on this show. This show is their life. It's especially like Chloe or Elizabeth. Like this show is like it's very difficult for them to go out like to a store. You know what I mean? Because they're like, a Clark, who is a friend of mine, is like, it's like Clark is a very cool dude. He has a lot of things that he likes to do outside of the show, but it becomes, increasingly difficult. So I feel very lucky that I can go do other things and kind of like, feel anonymous, which is good. I like the independence of being able to like go to the supermarket and maybe someone like looks at you like, and you're like this, no, it's not. And you keep it moving, so I've liked to have, I enjoy having that. And then being on the same lot, which is great, as them, I go over and I just say hi to everybody. And they're like, "Oh my God, how you doing?" And then they'll come over and they'll like, just like see what you're doing. And like, I'm in the uniform and all this other stuff. And it gives them an outlet because they really are like locked in. And they do a lot. They do 26 episodes, which is crazy. That's a lot of episodes. That's a lot of just being like keyed into this thing. And every so often you want to like just have that like outside time. So I think they treasure it when they see someone who's in the Marvel universe or has popped in and out, and that they can have an outlet to talk about what else is going on in the world.
Well, and the outlet for talking about what else is going on, Marvel's been kind of, notoriously tight-lipped about some of their big master plans.
Yeah.
Is there any wink, sharing in between any of that?
No. They're all pretty good. Everyone's pretty good. Like if now we get invited to screen things sometimes. So when you go see the screening and it's there that we kind of like, "Oh my God, that was amazing. Did you Especially, and I think especially for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guys, because they're sort of connected to the films, but they're not in the film. So for them, it's like gives them insight into what's going to come down the line for them on the show, or what they're already working on, and they don't understand why this is connecting to the Inhumans in this way, or why this is connected to, Black Panther or something like that. Like they don't know how all this, Wakanda or whatever, and they don't know how this all like ties in till they go to the screenings of the films and then it makes sense. Then it all starts happening for them. So, and that's where we like congregate and chatter about. But we keep our lips sealed. Yeah.
Right. Actually, both of you kind of touched on the subject, and if you could share it with your insights, how you feel about it. It's the actor experience side of the trust between the future and mailing you a hard copy, and even not even understanding how it all goes together. I actually would like to know how you guys feel about and what you do to basically prepare your character, prepare your acting for something like that.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what the project is. I kind of like always approach what I'm going to do the same way, which is trying to take emotional cues from the text to find out exactly what's going on in the text there. Asking questions about who my guy is, what he's about, and then I do little things, and it's from years of doing theater, and just like having little secrets for myself that I know that no one else knows that affect how my character reacts or how he reaches out to do something specific. But I pretty much use the same technique every time. It doesn't matter if it's like something like this, or I was in a movie called Sicario, where you want to go and you want to reach out and have specific little things about the guy that you learn, and I sort of apply that broadly to everything that I do.
I want to answer this in two parts because in our line of work, there are two aspects to what we do. There's the getting it, and then there's the doing it. And until you master the art of getting it, you don't get to be the one who does it. Right? I'm talking about the audition process. And later in your life, and I'm at that point now, we almost never have to audition. It's straight offers, and that's a blessed place to be. But believe me, if you're at that place, it's because you've earned it. It's because you've been around a long time. But this is worth hearing, and it will make them smile. I see the sign up there. But when I would go to auditions, I would notice a lot of people being very nervous in the room, and they would not leave their best work. And I was teaching in Los Angeles at the time a course in audition mastery, and I would ask my actors, how many of you have ever had the finest version of the read? And Max, this will make you smile, because you'll relate to it. We all can. Would the finest version of the read be the one that happens in the car on the way home after the read? So you're laughing because many of you have had job interviews where the best job interview was the one that took place in the car on the way home. So when I was reading for my first series regular role, now this is many, many years ago, it's not a guest star role, it's a series reg, and it's at ABC. I've had 3 shows on ABC, by the way, 3 separate series just on that network alone. All of them lasted less than 13 episodes. I've decided ABC is an acronym for already been canceled. So, but I went to, not kidding, and ABC, I love you.
At least 2 shows. 2.
So I'll make this quick. So this is a true story, and you are going to question my sanity here in about 20 seconds. But I went to the network that day. I walked out of my house, and it was a sitcom. And I'm doing a character who's like this. I mean, he's all over the place. And so it's funny. He's a funny guy. And my wife said, I walked back in the house. She said, did you forget something? And I said, no. I just had this whisper from within. And the whisper told me that I was supposed to go to the network with my shoes full of syrup, which I did. Not a few drops. Did I say a few drops? Not a few drops. I filled my shoes with syrup and went to the network. And here's what I want to tell you. It's impossible to screw anything up when your shoes are full of syrup. You find that you genuinely don't care. There was 0 pressure, and I booked the series. So now, when we did the pilot, of course, after the pilot, you wait a couple of months to find out if you're going to be picked up, and you return back to the grindstone, more reads. The very next job, I put syrup and honey and little baby marshmallows between my toes. I really did. I'm not kidding. And I've never felt more poised for greatness in my life. I set the record for my agency. I'm not bragging, I'm being factual. I'm just giving you information. I booked 6 jobs consecutively, which was a standing record was 5 that had been that way for 35 years at the agency. And on the 7th job, when I went in, here's what I thought. If it works this well in my shoes, where else might I want to begin placing things? 24, The West Wing, and CSI, all 3 of those series, so help me God, I booked with a piece of Oscar Mayer bologna placed right between my butt cheeks. So you want to know about preparation? That's my preparation. And that's a true story.
So much more than I ever expected, I have to say. All right. We're getting ready to wrap things up, but I do have one question for both of you. And simply, who's your favorite superhero?
Incredible Hulk. Incredible. I have a subscription to the Incredible Hulk. I've had one since I was 12. It's a view of the duality of man. I mean, it's as clear as day, and I think it's what a lot of people deal with.
Are you ready for a Maestro movie?
What's that?
Arch villain Maestro, right?
Yes. Or Mastermind.
Mastermind?
Yeah. Or the leader. Or how many years has that been
Not
around?
enough Hulk villains out there.
Yeah.
And I am required by law to say Supergirl.
Supergirl. All right. Well, like you said, we're about out of time here, so I'd like to thank both Glenn and Maximilian for coming out. Appreciate it. You can catch them both still today. Photo op at 12:30 on the main vendor floor, R1, R3, and 2:30. Is that right?
Yeah. I have a panel today.
No, I'm sorry. 2:45 at the Rex.
At the Rex Theater.
So if you want to catch more Glenn.
Please come if you want to learn more about the food in the undershorts
I want to know.
concept.
I'm going to be in line. I want to know that. And I want to know, do
I want you to come to my panel because I'm going to go deeper down that road. In fact, would you like to know what I have there today?
Hopefully
Crazy.
not that deep.
All right. Well, again, warm welcome. Actually, applaud for
Thank you
goodbye.
guys
Thank you
very much. Thank you.